Hello to everyone who may or may not be here. Welcome back to the stream where we play non-violent games that reward us for engaging with them intellectually and or emotionally, rather than rewarding us for any kind of violent accomplishments. Today we are back with the Great Ace Attorney, and I actually have some brief recordings that I made of all the voices I have for everyone. So you will find me referring to those, I'm sure, a few times. And a few times, I mean, I don't know how many times, but a lot probably, throughout the stream, so that I can get back to the voice that I gave people. But I'm hoping to be able to give them consistent voices now. If we can manage to change 2 more jurors' minds, we can force the trial to continue. 2 more, actually. There is something else that's bothering me about a couple of their assertions. Then that's where you must strike next. I need to pit 2 more jurors against each other and show there's a contradiction in their assertions. Exactly. You can do it. Well, the scales of justice have shifted, but they still weigh heavy on the side of guilt. Counsel, you have the floor again. Continue with your summation examination. I trust the driver. He has an excellent memory, it seems. 4 passengers, with fares totaling 20 pence. I trust the driver. I trust the driver. He has an excellent memory, it seems. 4 passengers, with fares totaling 20 pence. There was no one else inside the carriage at the time, so it has to have been him. I'm no lover of the rich, but I despise liars even more. No, that's not the one I gave him, I don't think. I'm no lover of the rich, but I despise liars even more. Innocent is my call. For now, at least. I have simply typed and collated all the statements made thus far, and drawn the logical conclusion. You can trust the guild. Fair fares is our motto. We haven't raised prices about 4 pence for years. I think that's what I gave him. Let's see. You can trust the guild. Fair fares is our motto. We haven't raised prices above 4 pence for years. Dear me, you can't make accusations based on lies. I wonder if the poor man is innocent after all. Alright, let's see. Ah, there we go. Objection. Those 2 statements clearly contradict each other. They do. Explain yourself, counsel. Me? Oh, dear. What have I said?
I swear on Silver Blaze's main and name, I haven't the first idea of what you're talking about.
According to the group testimony we've heard so far, there were 4 passengers on the omnibus on the night in question, and according to the coachman, Mr. Beppo, he took 20 pence in fares.
Quite right. I have those precise details typed neatly here in front of me. Quite right. I have those precise details typed neatly here in front of me.
And juror number 5 also told us the following. The fare for the omnibus is always 4 pence.
That it is. A fair and convenient single price. Just the way London's carriages should be operated.
But that doesn't add up at all. In fact, it leaves a glaring discrepancy in the facts.
Why, man? Why?
4 passengers paying 4 pence each. If you do the multiplication, it would be 16 pence. Exactly. As I said, it doesn't add up. The figures are different. By 4 pence, in fact. Or precisely 1 person's fare. 1 person's fare? Yes. In other words, on the omnibus that night, it's distinctly possible there was another passenger we've heard nothing about.
Good gracious! This can't be right. The coachmen of the guild are good, honest men who would know. Trustworthiness is a watchword.
The figures your coachman claims certainly do not add up. Your watchword, good sir, is a fallacy.
I beg your pardon.
Mr. Guildmaster, I think you ought to consider that if this trial were to end now, news will surely spread all over London. The news that one of your coachmen tried to hide the fact that he lets nefarious characters ride his omnibus.
Alright then. How do I make it so this miserable trial doesn't end,
Well, according to my book here, you simply launch a ball of fire onto the innocent side of the set of scales.
Now hold your horses there, coachman. We were all in agreement. Why do you have to go and... Wait till I get my hands on you, Beppo. Wait till I get my hands on you, Beppo.
I don't know.
Oh, this is all very irritating.
I think that's... Let's see. Juror 1.
There was no one else inside the carriage. There was no one else inside the carriage. There was no one else inside the carriage.
Begging your pardon, sir. Begging your pardon, sir. I'm going to do the same.
For the love of Mike, not you as well.
A penny can be the difference between a smile and a tear, after all. I certainly can't put my trust in someone who doesn't follow my exacting standards in financial matters.
Oh, really?
I, for one, think it's only proper that we hear from the witnesses again. Wait, that means 4 jurors are now leaning to not guilty. We've done it, Mr. Naruhodo. We've won! We've won!
What are you playing at, you dandy fool?
Shut your trap, sir. No one deceives me.
But we had a consensus.
I said shut your trap. I know a liar when I see one. And if the chap ever dares to cross the threshold of my shop, I'll take this razor-sharp blade and shave every last hair off his head. Oh my god, that's fucking creepy. Please tell me he's a barber.
Well, in a quite remarkable turn of events, the defense's summation examination has flipped the balance of the scales of justice. The jurors now stand 2 for guilty and 4 for not guilty. Accordingly, there is no longer a large enough majority among the jury for me to adjudicate, and the trial must continue.
Oh my god, that guy is still licking his knife.
I hereby ask the defense, prosecution, and witnesses to return to their places, and I call upon all of you to continue to pursue the truth. So, Lord Van Zieks, continue to substantiate the case for the prosecution, if you please.
Having savored the rich aroma of the carmine, contents of this hallowed, having savored the rich aroma of the carmine contents of this hallowed chalice, it may seem crass to crush it to dust. Please forgive the discourtesy. Lord Van Zieks! Is it cold in here, or is it just me?
As your antiquated tone no doubt says, the prosecution may not speak during a summation examination. So I honored a deathly silence and listened to the charade. It seems I overestimated the intelligence of the jury. Well, no matter. This is nothing so hard to prove there's nothing so hard to prove as a self-evident truth, it would seem. No, and why else would we grace the courtroom with our presence after all? So, let us proceed to the next round of battle. Bring forth the witnesses once more. Witnesses, I trust you heard the summation examination we have just had to endure.
Oh, yes, sir. That I did, sir.
Of course I heard it.
Oh, yes, sir. I heard it.
You, sir, on the end. The coachman. I believe it's Beppo.
Yes, let me listen to the voices I made for them.
Yes, my lord, sir. If it transpires that in your previous testimony you are attempting to veil the presence of a 5th passenger in your omnibus, you will be found guilty of perjury. You are advised to bear that in mind, sir. Yes, that's right, sir. Oh, mio Dio. Now then, witnesses, I hereby call on you to testify before the court again. You will explain the various misgivings brought to our attention by the defense's summation examination. I only carried 4 passengers that night. I swear it. But,
Alright, let's listen to... Fair Play.
Didn't I already testify to that? Well, I for one was told I had to pay 5 pence for the bus.
He fiddled us on the fare, he did. And then I saw that blood-curdling sight as well. It's all too much.
I tell you, I saw McGilded stabbing that man. Everything I said before stands.
Oh, yes. He stabbed him.
Yes, he did. I think so. No.
Yes, hold on.
Yes, he stabbed him. I think so, yes. Counsel, make sense of this for me, please. The phantom fifth passenger conjured into existence by my learned Eastern friend never existed. The confusion has arisen from the coachman's sly little cousinage. Ripple, explain yourself. I'm terribly sorry, Guildmaster. The guild's fare is 4 pence across the board. You know that. Am I to understand that you have been overcharging our passengers by a penny a fare?
It's so cold, and the last run of the day is always half empty.
You have been dishonest, coachman. I'm so sorry. You're a disgrace, Bipple. A disgrace. And your selfish actions have brought dishonor on the entire guild.
If I may, sir, I had to pay 10 pence on the bus just last week.
What?
4 passengers at 5 pence each is, yes, 20 pence. I've done the arithmetic 10 times already, but I just can't make the result come out differently.
No, that figures. Well, it would appear that one of the aforementioned misgivings has already been explained. So, counsel for the defense, your cross-examination, if you please. We've already had the pleasure of a protracted summation examination today. I see you intend to continue the parlor games.
Absolutely.
So, there were only 4 passengers on your carriage, but you didn't charge them the standard 4 pence fare. Is that right? It's impossible to make the last run of the day pay. It was so cold, and it was all I could do to stop myself from passing out. I'm getting chill when just listening to you. It was terrible, so I wanted to give myself a pat on the back for even keeping the bus running. Doesn't the dedicated coachman deserve an extra penny passenger? You're digging a deeper hole for yourself here. If only there had been a 5th passenger on the omnibus that night, then we would have had another suspect. Does that mean everyone on board that night paid 5 pence instead of 4?
Well, I paid 5 pence. Well, I paid 5 pence too, sir.
And I just told you that I did.
A flat fare of 5 pence across the board. Board. It's not something to be proud of.
This so-called discrepancy my learned friend identified was nothing of the sort. Much like the phantom killer you so desperately needed, he's gone, dead and buried. I'd have been happy if it had ever existed in the first place.
He fiddled us on the fare, he did. And then I saw that blood-curdling sight as well. It's all too much. Oh, yeah, right.
This
blood-curdling sight. You mean the murder, I presume? Yes, sir. A loathsome sight. No one should have to witness the horror in the eyes of a man the moment his life has been taken. The moment his life is taken. Oh, well, not exactly, sir. I mean, I didn't actually see the exact moment the gent was stabbed. Good gracious, really? We have another witness who did, however. The banker has already testified to it. Mr. First didn't actually see the point at which the victim was killed. That may turn out to be very significant. I heard the banker gent next to me take a sharp intake of breath. See, that's when I looked through the glass. That's when I saw that horrible blade poking out from his belly, all covered in blood. Every time I see a knife now, I can't help screaming, even when I'm eating. So, you saw the defendant, Mr. McGilded, stabbing the victim, Mr. Mason, who was next to him? Who was sitting next to him?
That's what I said, isn't it?
It was bothering me before this once. For just a brief moment, he hesitated before answering the question.
Anyway, there was only the two of them inside the carriage, wasn't there?
There has been much talk of a fifth passenger, but as of yet, zero evidence.
Then what are we wasting all this time for? Hey, it's black and white. The man's guilty.
Something about Mr. Fairplay's testimony just jars with me. I wish I could work out what it was. Earlier, you testified that you saw the moment when the defendant allegedly stabbed the victim, didn't you?
Oh, yes, that's right.
You said that the victim was on the floor and described the assailant holding the knife in an ice pick grip. I suppose I might have, yes, put the cart before the horse, maybe.
What's this?
Well, I'm quite sure about most of it. I was driving the horses when I heard a scream from the seats of the roof deck. Oh, I expect it was me, sir. Then when I turned around, yes, I saw it through the skylight. The gentleman was on the floor, and the knife was sticking up out of his midriff. That's right, yes, and the fellow holding the handle was the famous man, yes. So, in short, you didn't see the moment when the victim was actually stabbed at all? I really thought that I did, but when I go over it again in my head, no, I suppose I didn't see the precise moment of the stabbing, did I?
Excuse me.
Do you have something to say about that, Mr. Fairplay?
Now, you listen to me. I know what you're thinking. He didn't really see the exact moment the fellow was stabbed. What are the chances of that? Eh?
Are you asking me or telling me? He's getting flustered. I might be able to extract some new information from him if I answer him cleverly. Could he have just happened to see the exact moment the crime was committed? Well, it is a little hard to believe, certainly. Unless you spend your time peeping through a skylight on top of an omnibus, that is.
Peeping? I'm a respectable city banker, I'll have you know, and I know what I saw. I remember it as clear as a Ballarat day. It was a grim scene, I don't mind telling you. Thank you, Mr. Fairplay. Oh, excuse me if I was getting a little hot under the collar there, my lord. I would ask you to supplement your testimony with a clear statement about what exactly you saw. Oh, I can do that all right. I'll tell you just how grim it was. Do you think I'd forget the sight of those blood-soaked hands after that butcher stabbed that man?
Not long ago, this trial very nearly came to an end. Somehow, we've managed to keep our chances alive here. I can't waste this cross-examination. I have to use it to bring up some new facts to light. If you're not careful when you press these witnesses, the danger is that the jury will end up believing something unhelpful, as they did before. Maybe, but we can't let the fear of that happening stop us from uncovering important new information. Yes, you're so right. I need to pay careful attention here. I don't want to miss even a flicker of a reaction among these witnesses. Remember, if you happen to spot one of the witnesses reacting in a strange way, don't hesitate to pursue them as to the reason. Wow, blood-soaked hands, huh?
Objection!
Blood-soaked hands?
Well, I admit that soot may be laying it on a little thick, but anyway, there was definitely blood all over them. Both of them were covered in it.
Well, I'm very sorry to disagree, Mr. Fairplay, but that's more than a little peculiar.
What?
Here are the gloves worn by the defendant, Mr. McGilden, on the night in question.
Oh, yes, right.
And there certainly does appear to be a sizable dark-colored stain here. Stain there. But as I'm sure you can clearly see, it's only on the right-hand glove.
Ah!
In short, Mr. Fairplay, your testimony is inconsistent.
Ah! But, no! That can't be right.
So you're the liar here, then?
Ah!
That's right. You were quite clear about it. You said, it was both hands.
Ah!
Mr. Fairplay, if your last statement was a lie, it calls your entire testimony into question. You say you saw the moment the victim was stabbed, but is that really the truth?
Objection!
It was a simple mistake. You can't justify accusing this man of lying. Yes, it wasn't both hands, it was only one. But the fact remains. The victim's blood was on the accused.
Objection!
No, Mr. Fairplay categorically stated that he saw blood all over both hands, which means that there's a strong possibility that this witness was deliberately trying to mislead the court.
Why? I'm a city banker, for pity's sake. My words should be the gold standard. I'm a gentleman, not some gutter snipe. Upstanding members of society don't prevaricate.
He's claiming to have no reason to lie. Is that really the case?
Mr. Naruhodo, if we had some evidence to explain why Mr. Fairplay might be lying, it could turn the tide in this trial completely.
Something to show this man has a compelling reason to lie in his testimony. My lord,
Yes, counsel.
the defense is ready to present evidence.
By Jove, are you sure?
Yes, evidence that will clearly demonstrate why Mr. Fairplay had reason to lie in his testimony.
Very well. I hereby call on the defense to present its evidence. The evidence that demonstrates a motive for the witness's alleged deception of the court.
This portfolio must contain all sorts of secrets of London's gentry.
Oh dear, do you really think we have to look inside?
Well, it's not as though we know any of London's gentry personally, does it? Apart from our great detective friend, perhaps. Actually, I wonder.
I assure you we will not find Mr. Sholmes' name inside.
Well, let's see what we find.
gosh, it's crammed full of gentlemen's names, isn't it?
Well, I suppose they're probably not all gentlemen at all, are they? After all, not everyone in this country is well off.
Ah, goodness.
What is it?
Look at this. Do you see this name here?
Bruce Fairplay. Should that mean something to me? It does sound strangely familiar, actually.
Bruce Fairplay, the witness testifying at this very moment.
Oh, yes, of course, the banker. Why is his name in here? Ah, he borrowed 20 guineas, did he? And look, the repayment date is fast approaching.
It's possible that this is just a coincidence, of course, but this could be very useful information. That part is the sheath, isn't it? Are you all right, Mr. Naruhodo?
Oh, sorry, yes, I just don't really like blades.
Oh, those don't seem like the words of a man with a large katana slung from his waist.
That's not a blade, that's Kazua's soul. Anyway, there's no sense in delaying it. Let's see what the blade looks like. Ugh, it looks a lot like blood.
It surely is blood. The victims.
Ugh, an Englishman's blood looks a lot like a Japanese man's blood.
Did you think it wouldn't?
Sorry, it's that we've only just arrived here in Great Britain. Finding it a little hard to adjust.
Yes, I do understand.
An ornate letter M. Undeniably Mr. Magnus McGilded's initial.
And it's beautifully gilded, too. It must be very valuable, I should think.
Ah, what is it? Look at this M. If you turn it upside down, it becomes a W. This could change everything.
A W?
Yes, this is one of those, turnabout cases. I'm sure of it.
I'm afraid I don't know at all. What I am sure of is that this is an M.
Oh. Well, that idea was quickly quashed. This is a list of the debtors who owe money to Mr. McGilded.
Yes, a list of innocent victims, crippled by the accused's extortion.
The point is, among the names of these debtors is your name, Mr. Bruce Fairplay.
What? Mr. Fairplay? Are you currently indebted financially to the accused?
Ah, no. Well, it's barely worthy of being called a debt. According to this ledger, you owe 20 guineas. Not an inconsiderable sum of money, wouldn't you say?
Well, what of it?
Let's suppose Mr. McGilded were to be found guilty of murder. What would become of your debt in that case?
His documents state that the loan agreement is forged between two individual bodies.
Therefore, were the creditor, the defendant here, to be sentenced to a capital punishment,
all outstanding debts which were owed to him would be annulled. They would cease to exist.
Cease to exist?
Mr. Fairplay, is it not the case that you claimed in your testimony to have seen something you never in fact saw, in a devious attempt to annul your debt of 20 guineas to the defendant?
Order! Mr. Bruce Fairplay. Yes, my lord. Let me ask you again, and be aware that your answer may have most serious implications upon your future, sir. Did you, or did you not, see the precise moment in time at which the defendant is allegedly to have thrust a knife into the victim?
Your silence speaks volumes. You did not tell the truth in your testimony.
All right, now let's not make a melodrama out of this. Perhaps I did overstate the truth a pinch.
A pinch?
But it makes no difference. I definitely remember seeing blood on McGilder's hands. Both of them.
Objection.
And yet, only one of the defendant's gloves, which we have here as evidence, is stained.
So you keep saying.
I wonder if I might be allowed to speak, sir.
Go ahead, Mr. First.
Well, the thing is, I think I remember seeing it myself, as it happens.
Seeing what?
The blood, sir, on the assailant's hands. I think, yes. I'm almost sure that it was on both of his hands, not just one. What?
What?
It would appear that we're going to need further testimony from all of you witnesses. This time I would like to know precisely what you did and what you did not see. Do I make myself perfectly clear? Yes.
Mr. Naruto, this is good news. The course of the trial seems to have shifted slightly at last.
Yes. I might finally have a chance to turn things around here.
There was blood on both hands of the assailant. I sincerely and distinctly remember that. However, I suppose you might say that I didn't see the exact moment the stabbing transpired, if that matters.
I remember seeing the knife. And I remember seeing both of the attacker's hands with blood on them.
I didn't actually see anything myself. No, not until I heard the scream. Anyway, the fact remains. There can't have been anyone else inside that carriage, or we all would have seen. Well, lo and behold, I don't know why I said, lo and behold, in truth of fact, not one of your witnesses to not one of you was witness to the crucial moment in the crime was perpetrated. I apologize, my lord, but honestly, there was no one else inside that carriage, and the man's hands were covered in blood. That much incriminating evidence is tantamount to saying we saw the man do it.
That's really not what testimony is about.
Let us examine the interior of the omnibus once more. The victim's flesh blood is clearly visible on the seat, corroborating the witness's accounts. In other words, there is no substantial nor significant change in the facts of the case. Very well. Your cross-examination, please, counsel.
Yes, my lord. No, the evidence tells us otherwise. We have the gloves the defendant was wearing on the night in question in the court record.
I'm well aware of that, sir.
But nevertheless, I know what I saw and I stand by it. The man had blood on both his hands. He's defiant, even in the face of hard evidence. He's steadfastly refusing to admit he might be mistaken about what he saw. But why?
Your reasoning is dire.
One hand or two, the salient point remains unchanged.
Minutes after the grim crime, the victim's blood dripped guiltily from the accused's fingers. However, I suppose you might say that I didn't see the exact moment. Hold on.
Don't try to downplay this. Whether or not you saw the exact moment of the crime is a matter of fundamental importance, as well you know.
But for crying out loud, we all know that no one else could have possibly have done it. I Trying to save us all some time. You have a loan of 20 guineas outstanding with the defendant, do you not? Humph. How do you hope to release yourself from that financial burden by ensuring the defendant was found guilty? Well, dog! That's not entirely not what I was hoping for. Yeah, I just lost a little guinea or 10 when I backed the wrong horse in the Derby, that's all. I was going to win it all back. There's a fixture this weekend, that's a sure thing. A little guinea or 10? I'm a beggar. No one bats an eye if I borrow a little spending money for the weekend. I think you may have revealed rather more about your character than you bargained for, sir. This witness's scruples are not on trial here. Proceed to the next witness. Is that really how it's supposed to work? You definitely saw that too? Blood on both hands? Yes, sir. I mean, I know what you're going to say. Only one of Mr. McGilden's gloves has any signs of blood on it. That's right. The thing is, as far as I remember, sir, when I looked down and saw Mr. McGilden sitting beside the other fellow, I don't believe he was wearing any gloves, sir. He wasn't wearing these gloves? That's correct, sir. And I saw the blood on both his bare hands quite clearly. It's true that the dark-colored stain on the dark leather gloves wouldn't have been easy to see. The dark red stain. I should point out that the police officer who apprehended the accused on the night in question reported that there was no trace of blood on Mr. McGilden's gloves' hands. There wasn't blood on his hands? This is puzzling indeed. This must be significant somehow. I'm sure of it. You didn't see anything? Oh, yes, sir. That is to say, no, sir, I didn't. Very sorry about what I said before, sir. Very sorry, yes. It was very wrong of me to make up stories and say I saw him stab the man. Wouldn't you agree, sir? Humph, I know what you're insinuating, but I certainly wasn't making up stories. Still, to say you saw nothing isn't right either, is it? No, sir, I saw nothing at all. Mr. Beppo, you were driving your horses. At the very least, you must have enjoyed a good view of London streets, no? Oh, please. You didn't even see that? It was so cold, you see. Cold that night, you see. It was all I could do to keep from passing out, sir. Yes, my head was fairly frozen solid, sorry to say, sir. It would seem prudent to avoid travel on the last omnibus service of London's cold winter nights. Beppo! Ah! And everything you saw of the incident was through the skylight on the roof of the omnibus. That's right. It was fiercely cold that night, but the glass wasn't frosted over. Oh, yes, I remember. I was shivering, it was so bitter. Which rather begs the question of why the pair of you was sitting on the roof deck in the first place. Well, I don't know about this young fellow, but I couldn't enter the cabin. Oh, why not? It was locked from the inside. I tried knocking, but no one opened the door. It was locked? That's right, and it's a public bus service, for pity's sake. That's not what I call fair play. Yes, I had exactly the same experience. I tried knocking, but the gent inside just gestured at me to clear off.
so I had no choice but to climb up the roof deck and look down longingly into the warm cabin below.
Well, I can assure you that I wasn't just looking down, I was glaring, long and hard. And that's precisely why I can tell you with absolute confidence that if there was anyone else at all in that cabin, I would have noticed.
Unequivocal, I would say. I'm not sure about these two witnesses. Could they really have seen everything inside the cabin through the skylight? Allow me to confirm one thing, Mr. Fairplay. You were riding this omnibus and witnessed the events in the cabin through the skylight and the floor of the upper deck. Is that right?
That's right, yes.
In that case, there is a portion of the cabin interior that would have been out of sight from you.
What?
By golly, really? Obviously, at this stage, we can't say for sure. But the possibility cannot be denied that at the time of the incident, there could have been another passenger in the enclosed section of the omnibus.
Enough hypothetical meandering, my Nipponese friend. The prosecution demands that you substantiate your claims. After all, the scene of the crime is here, in the flesh. Very well, I will uphold the prosecution's demand. You will identify the area in this cross-sectional plan of the omnibus. Where exactly in the omnibus are you suggesting that the potential extra passenger could have been situated?
Both rows of seats on the roof face in the direction of travel, whereas the seats in the enclosed cabin face each other, which means the visible part of the cabin, which passengers on the roof deck can see through the skylight, is as I've drawn here.
Ah!
That's right, my lord. As you can see, the seat opposite the one on which the victim and his attacker were sitting is obscured from view. In other words, if someone had been sitting on that seat, it's quite possible these witnesses would have been completely unaware of it.
Gah!
Objection!
It's quite possible some phantom was sitting there. You Nipponese have a forbidding habit of obscuring the truth with ambiguity. I concur with the prosecution's rejoinder. In a British court of law, evidence is paramount. I cannot entertain this conjecture, counsel. That is, unless you are able to put a name to this mysterious passenger to whom you allude.
Can you, Mr. Naruhodo? I honestly don't know. Who could it have been? Who could have been in the other seat which was out of sight from the witnesses on the roof deck? I understand, my lord. The defense would like to put forward a name.
You are a fool. That response was a desperate attempt by a man who has no notion of his own limitations. A toast to hard lessons not yet learnt. Let us not delay, counsel. The defense is still to name the passenger in the other seat.
This could be it. This could be the chance I've been waiting for to turn the trial in my favor. On that night, on the night of the murder, the person occupying the seat in the omnibus cabinet was obscured from view was... Couldn't be him, couldn't be him, couldn't be him. Couldn't be him.
Take that!
The passenger in the enclosed cabin that the witnesses on the roof deck failed to see has to have been Mr. Magnus McGilded. Mr. McGilded? What are you talking about, Counsel? That's the name of the defendant.
Objection!
If I desecrate this chamber by smashing my hallowed chalice, do forgive the discourtesy.
Lord Van Zeeks!
People talk of those tiny island nations in the Far East as having a learning and culture of their own, but I see they use the terms ill-advisedly.
What are you trying to say?
Let me explain in terms that even a student of an artless backwater such as yourself might understand.
Why is everyone so racist?
When the bloody scene unfolded, the victim and his assailant were sitting side by side. Multiple witnesses have attested to the fact. It's the very premise on which this case was built.
But that premise may be wrong.
What?
If the victim really was sitting beside Mr. McGilded, it creates an inconsistency that can't be reconciled in any way.
What inconsistency, Counsel?
The defendant's gloves, my lord. Both witnesses made the same testimony. They claimed that there was blood on both hands of the person sitting next to the victim.
Objection!
Yet we know the truth to be otherwise, and the one glove bears the gory remains.
The point is, even in the face of this irrefutable evidence, both witnesses have maintained their stance.
Yes, their testimony remains unchanged.
Exactly. They both adamantly swear that they clearly remember seeing blood on both hands of the assailant. In short, their memory of events is correct, and their testimony reveals the truth. If it was somebody else sitting beside the victim that night, a third party we have yet to identify, and the victim's blood was on that passenger's hands, both of them.
Objection!
And who was this third party?
Obviously, the true culprit.
Extraordinary! Order, order, order! What exactly are you postulating?
Objection!
The defense's postulation is just that. Nothing more than conjecture. The witnesses have clearly stated that they saw the accused.
But when elaborating on his testimony, Mr. Fairplay said the two of them were wearing hats and I couldn't exactly make out their faces.
Yes. The tops of their heads were obscured by the roof. I could see the rest of them, though.
Yes, that's right. Both gents most certainly were hatted. Hatters do tend to notice such things, sir.
And what particular styles of hat did the two gentlemen sport, Mr. First?
I'm afraid I don't remember. And you call yourself a hatter?
The style of hat makes no difference. There was no third passenger in that cabin.
How can you be so sure?
Because if there had been, the accused, Mr. McGilded, would undoubtedly have offered to depose the fact.
Unless, that is, you are proposing an even more preposterous explanation. That the accused failed even to notice the presence of the true culprit in the very cabin in which he traveled. That's right. If there was another person traveling in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus, it's inconceivable that Mr. McGilded would have been unaware of it.
Order! There is clearly a simple solution to this problem. Bring the accused, Mr. McGilded, to the stand. Well, what say you, counsel? The prosecution objects, my lord. On what grounds? As a suspect, he will have already made a false statement to the police.
But what if there's some reason why he's unable to speak freely?
Magnus McGilded is no uneducated ruffian. If it indeed turns out that the man has been withholding information, you can be sure it will have been a most deliberate act. Counsel for the defense, what is your opinion?
My lord, should we ask Mr. McGilded to testify or not? Yes, we need to hear what he has to say in order to find out the truth. The defense would like to call Mr. McGilded to the stand.
In that case, I would like to hear the opinion of the jury. Ah, yes, I need a little time to consider this.
If you ask me, I think we should hear what Mr. McGilded has to say.
Get the man out here, I say.
It would be utterly illogical not to hear his testimony.
When something needs doing, get it done. That's how I run things at the guild.
Hearing what the patron of my favorite little park has to say. Oh yes, that would be lovely.
Yes, the jury says this man must be heard. Very well. The court will hear the defendant's testimony. Bailiff, show the defendant to the stand at once.
Alright, so now, what actually happened that night will finally become clear. So I went over how to do an Irish accent before I started streaming. Let's see if I can manage.
Let proceedings be resumed. Mr. McGilded, have you all been listening to the discourse of the day?
To be sure I have, my lord.
There are now two matters on which the court desires to hear from you. The first is whether or not there was a third party with you in the omnibus cabin as proposed by the defense.
The second is that if such a person was indeed present, why did you conceal that fact from the police? Begad, no. It is not my nature to hide anything at all.
Just answer the questions, please.
The truth of the matter is, I've been desperate about this all along. Do I tell you all, or keep my mouth shut? Tell us what, Mr. McGilded? The fine fellow representing me is absolutely right. In the carriage on the night with myself and the other man, there was another passenger.
It's true.
Aye, it was me who helped the little urchin get away after it all happened. You... what?
No, Magnus McGilded. That convenient excuse can't save you now.
I'm truly sorry, so I am, Lord Van Zieks. I'm sure you'll be wanting to know why I said nothing when I was taken in by the police. I do be having a very good reason, I assure you.
Which was?
Well, the little child was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and not in any way involved, you see. What?
What?
If the police had known the wee one was there, they'd have assumed she'd done it. They'd have hauled her into this here courtroom just like myself. I was only trying to spare her that. I'm close. I'm not quite doing an Irish accent well. Young hearts and minds are easily damaged, my lord.
And who was this young child of whom you speak?
That I don't know. That I don't know. That I don't know.
You don't know?
well, the waiting just happened to be... the waiting just happened to be in the carriage that night. I never saw him before or since. Or since. I never saw her. I never saw her before or since.
We have absolutely no reason to believe this man. The prosecution calls for the witness's statements to be disregarded by the court.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if the urchin isn't here in this courtroom as we speak, listening to the proceedings. Ah, smoke! Ah, fire! There's a fire! Ah, look, someone's trying to get away after them. It's no use. I can't see anything. What is going on? Be careful, Mr. Naruto. Cover your face.
Bailiff, don't let the accused escape. Secure the omnibus. I hereby call an emergency recess. Bailiff, ensure the defendant is in custody and clear the courtroom.
We were hurriedly removed from the smoke-filled courtroom by the bailiff, amid scenes of chaos as people stumbled over one another in a desperate attempt to flee the chamber. We had no idea what was happening. All we knew was that for the time being, at least, the trial was suspended. February 12:52 p.m. The Old Bailey Defendant's Antechamber. What on earth just happened in there?
Mr. Naruto, I've managed to find out what happened.
Mr. Sato,
I was told it was an advanced form of smoke grenade, a type of exploding device that releases smoke.
a smoke grenade? Sounds like the sort of thing ninjas use.
They're just making sure everything is safe now. I think the trial will start again before long.
But who would have done something like that?
The police managed to catch someone who was trying to flee the courtroom, apparently.
Flee the courtroom? Why?
Well, it's a young girl of around 15, I hear.
A young girl? Then could it be the other passenger that Mr. McGillard was just talking about?
My thoughts exactly.
So it wasn't lying. Oh, what's become of Mr. McGillard, actually? There's so many things I need to ask him about, but he's not here.
I think he was summoned to the prosecutor's antechamber to answer questions, along with the young girl.
Who is she, I wonder? What was she even doing here at the trial? She was taking a huge risk, and for what possible benefit to herself?
There's another matter that's troubling me.
What's that?
The 20 pence.
Oh,
According to the coachman, Mr. Beppo, he took 4 passengers that night at a fare of 5 pence each. That comes to a total of 20 pence exactly. But now it seems there were in fact 5 passengers, which means the figures don't seem to add up again.
She's right. That is strange.
Counsel for the defense, kindly proceed into the courtroom. The trial will recommence in 5 minutes.
Oh, thank you, officer. We'll go in straight away.
Well, whoever she is, I imagine this young girl will be asked to take the stand and testify now. I really can't imagine what she's going to say, but it could alter the whole direction of the trial.
We'll know soon enough, Mr. Sato.
Yes.
18th of February, 1 p.m., the Old Bailey Courtroom. There's the young girl next to Mr. McGilded. Look. She must have been the one who caused the disturbance before.
Well, after that rather eventful recess, the court will now resume the trial of Mr. Magnus McGilded. Now then, Lord Van Zieks. My lord. I believe you have established the cause of the smoke which involved the proceedings earlier. It seems to have been an advanced form of smoke grenade, of the sort typically employed by the army. Good gracious, the army? What in the devil's name? It was an elaborate attempt by a young girl to cloak her escape from the public gallery, but she was caught. And now occupies the stand. Your name, girl? Are you responsible for the smoke grenade which induced such pandemonium here in my courtroom? What is the meaning of this deplorable behavior? Ahem. If I may, my lord. Yes, Mr. McGilded? I think perhaps I ought to explain here. Why it is that this wee lass was here in the first place, and why she tried to bolt like that. In the first place. Why it is that this wee lass was here in the first place, and why she tried to bolt like that. 'Tis all tied up with the events of that night, so it is. Very well, Mr. McGilded, give your testimony. You will explain to the court exactly how this young woman is involved in the case.
Just what did happen that night? It's not like a defense lawyer needs that information or anything.
On the night in question, I took the back seat in the omnibus and promptly nodded off. Then, begorra, a loud thud and a wee scream woke me up with a fast start. There was a fella collapsed on the floor at my feet, so I set him up in the seat across from me. Then I turned to find out where that scream had come from, and bless my soul, what did I find? There was a child in there, all curled up into
Trying to find the Irish R. All curled up in a ball, hiding her wee self away.
I remain somewhat baffled, I confess, but from what I gather on the night in question, this young girl was indeed riding in the omnibus. Is that correct?
'Tis exactly as the defendant's counsel said. This lass was the 5th passenger, my lord.
No, my lord.
This lass was the 5th passenger, my lord.
Very well. The defense may now cross-examine the witness. Are you ready, counsel?
Yes, my lord. Or rather, no. I have no idea where to start. And when you first got into the omnibus, were there any other passengers already on board?
There were not.
There were not.
There were not.
The cabin was empty, and there was no one, and there was no one on the roof deck either.
You were the first passenger, as it were.
I see. Aye, and that's why I took the back seat as I did. 'Tis the most comfortable, so it is.
So it is.
Can you explain exactly what you mean by the back seat?
By all means.
'Tis how you already described it earlier. I'm talking about the seat opposite, the one in which the poor gentleman who was stabbed was sitting.
Like I said, 'tis the most comfortable and where I feel the most at ease. The most at ease. And of course, I enjoy gazing to the skylight from time to time as well.
Hold it!
A loud thud, you say, and a scream. Aye, that's right. How can I explain it? 'Twas like the sound of someone falling to the ground. To the ground. To the ground. That sort of noise.
So you think it was the sound of Mr. Mason falling to the floor, having been stabbed?
Well, no. Well, no. You'll remember I was asleep at the time, so I wouldn't like to say. And when the sound woke me and I opened up my eyes, there wasn't a soul to be seen in the carriage but the fellow on the floor. But the fellow on the floor.
But the fellow on the floor.
You didn't see anyone.
But at the same moment, you did hear a scream.
Ah, from the seats above you on the roof deck, I presume.
Not above me, no, my lord. 'Twas in front. 'Twas from. Not above me. Not above me. Well, not above me, no, my lord. 'Twas from inside the cabin.
But I wasn't sure. But I wasn't altogether thinking about the scream.
No, I was too stunned by the desperate sight before me eyes.
There was,
Hold it!
You sat him up? The victim, you mean?
That I did. On the seat across from me, as I said. I could plainly see the poor devil was already gone. That I did. On the seat across from me, as I said. I could plainly see the poor devil was already gone. Already gone. And you wouldn't leave a dead man just lying on the floor now, would you?
And you wouldn't leave a dead man lying on the floor, now would you? 'Tis common courtesy, so it is.
I find that a little hard to believe.
Ah, Lord Van Zieks, now why would that be?
You wait to find a man lying dead at your feet in a carriage. Any normal person would hail the cabman. Any upstanding member of London society, that is.
Well,
no, as you know, I'm in something of a special line of business. The business of lending money at exorbitant rates of interest. Unfortunately, my lord, not everyone is thankful for the help I offer them, and some would even see me dead. So I do try, where at all possible, to avoid getting myself in a tangle with trouble.
Are you suggesting you were just gonna leave the man there?
Heavens alive, no. I was always intended to report it, so I was. Only, I had of mind to find out the whys and wherefores first.
The whys and wherefores?
Right you are. There were some details I wanted to understand before anyone else got to meddling. That weird scream I heard, for example. Wouldn't your good self do just the same?
Yes. The scream he says he heard at the same time as the thud of the victim collapsing.
Hold it!
I'm afraid I don't understand. I'm sure you told the court that there was no one else in the carriage except yourself and the victim.
So I did, sir. So I did. As far as I could see, that is.
What do you mean by that?
Well, no. 'Tis a queer thing. The wee scream I heard as I woke up. It came from, if you'll excuse the vulgar expression, under my backside.
Good gracious. Under your backside?
And when I lifted the seat on which I'd been sitting, I found there was a wee cubbyhole there for storage. I found there was a wee cubbyhole there for storage. For storage.
Trying it. I'm not good at Irish accent yet, but I'm working on it.
Mr. Naruto, we can examine the omnibus ourselves, remember?
Yes, of course. The whole bus was submitted as evidence.
This would be a very good time to have a thorough look around inside.
And that's when I found her. When I found her.
Well, let's hope they're going outside. The seat has a handle, it seems. This is a storage compartment, but there's nothing in here. It's totally empty. Something doesn't seem right here, but I can't put my finger on what it is. That's blood, isn't it? Something wrong? Is something wrong? Oh, it's just, well, this bloodstain is so obvious, that's all. And yet Van Zieks has made no mention of it. I suppose that does seem a little strange. Why do I have such a bad feeling about this? You say she was hiding herself? Hey, that's right. It was hard to see in the dim lamplight, but she was all curled up in a wee ball. When our eyes met, well, my heart nearly stopped beating in my chest. You're really overacting this. Still and all, I pulled her out from under there, and sat her on the seat opposite so I could have a wee chinwag with her. The seat opposite? That's right. Just next to the dead gentleman there. You sat this young girl next to a corpse, sir? Well, as I'm sure I mentioned, a gentleman in my position cannot too often find himself in mortal danger. So, I needed to find out just who this urchin was, you see. And while I was in the middle of talking with her, I heard another scream. Fiddler's voice this time. Presumably that scream was Mr. First, who was sitting on the roof deck seats. Right you are again, I would say, sir. Looking down through the skylight, he must have seen this young girl. Must have seen this young girl and the gentleman with a knife through his belly. In other words, the previous witnesses did not in fact see you at all, Mr. McGilden. See you at all, Mr. McGilden. What they believed to be yourself and the victim was in fact this young girl and the late Mr. Mason. Aye, my lord. I was, as I think everyone understands now, sat at the back of the carriage, out of sight. It is certainly plausible. The defendant is somewhat diminutive in stature, and readily confused perhaps with this young girl. After that, of course, with the scream from the gentleman over us, the driver realized something was wrong and pulled up the horses. Pulled up the horses? Pulled up the horses. There's an Irish O as well. Those are the two I'm sort of messing up. There's an Irish O and an Irish R, and I haven't gotten those down yet. Thank you, I've heard enough. The events as explained are clear in my mind. However, at least one conundrum remains. Who is the girl? Her name is Gina Lestrade, my lord. She's a chancer, and across among large crowds, relieving people of their purses. What's commonly called a pickpocket. What? This girl here? A petty thief? Order! Is this true, Miss Lestrade? Miss Lestrade, you will answer the question. How dare you? What is the meaning of this? The girl! She's gone! Open your eyes. I'm over here. Open your eyes, I'm over here. Good gracious, how? What was the point in that little sidestep? I know what you lot are thinking. Grown-ups are all the same. This dirty little dipper, you'll say, slipped up and got caught on the job. She got herself backed into a corner, so she knifed the gent. Go on, that's what's in your heads, ain't it? Oh, that's what's in your heads, ain't it? No, not at all. This is a court of law. We're here to determine the truth, not cast... Look, knives are for cowards. Only thugs use weapons like that. All I need for what I do is these fingers. I'm a professional, alright. Maybe not in your eyes, but I got pride in what I do. Let me guess, you don't count smoke guns among weapons for thugs? Oh, this. Yeah, this was in a bag I lifted the other day, down where they keep the four-wheel drags. It's nice, isn't it? I like the pink best. Ah, do not wave that thing in my direction again! Don't wave the thing in my direction again! So, you admit that you were riding the omnibus on the night in question. He's alright, lass. You can tell him the truth now. Alright, yeah. It's just like the Irishman said. Okay, so she's probably Scottish, so I'm gonna have to figure out how to switch between a Scottish and an Irish accent. That's gonna be a mess. The court accepts this girl, Miss Gina Lestrade, as a valid and significant witness in this case. Accordingly, young lady, we will now hear your testimony, if you please. You will tell the court exactly what happened on the omnibus on the night in question. Alright, if I have to. So I snuck inside the carriage before they hooked up the horses, just like always. But it was a right old waste of time. I got nothing to show for my troubles that night. I tell you, I can't see a blind thing in that hiding place. It's pitch in there. No, see, no, that's Irish. Now I'm doing Irish when I'm... Then, after a while, I heard this loud bang. Nearly jumped out of my skin, I did. And the scream just came out. It's big as that, this swell found me. It did help me get away, mind. It did help me get away, mind. It's because of the... yeah, okay, so... Yes, he let you go. I fail to understand why you would let this street urchin go, Mr. McGildred. Oh, 'tis simplicity itself, my lord. You'll see, she couldn't possibly have killed the other passenger. I knew that for a fact. How? Oh, as I'm sure I said before, sir. I was sitting right on top of the place where she was hiding herself. I think a demonstration is called for. This is where I was set that night, and the cubbyhole of which you have spoken, is underneath this seat, I presume. Yes. It does appear just large enough to accommodate someone of this girl's stature. Oi, but of course, this wee lass was stuck in there, because I'd parked myself on the seat for the duration. Aye. So, you see, that's why I let the left bolt. I knew that if the police found her there, they'd automatically assume she'd done it. But I couldn't live with myself if the young life was ruined when all the time I knew she was innocent. Even though you must have realized our action would result in your own innocence being called into question. Not at all, my lord, not at all. I knew in my own heart that I was innocent. So I thought it was worth taking a punt on my own good name for the sake of this less fortunate lass. My goodness. What a perfect gentleman. My lord, this fine example of a man cannot possibly be guilty of a heinous crime like this. I'm ashamed of myself for ever doubting you, sir. With calm, calculated reasoning, one arrives clearly at the truth every time. Saints alive! All 6 members of the jury consent.
Are all 6 members of the jury consensual in their leaning to a verdict of not guilty?
Mr. Naruhodo, this... Well, it must mean...
It must mean what?
that we're victorious!
We've won? Or are you sure?
Objection!
If the sight of my iron-haired Wellington offends, pray do forgive the discourtesy. This really is a consummate example of the one monumental flaw in British judicial practices, where evidence and reasoning should be paramount. Emotion rules the day. Emotion? The witness's latest statement gives us a clear insight into his true nature.
What do you mean, his true nature?
Do you really think Scotland Yard would have made such a glaring omission? After the incident, the omnibus was comprehensively searched by officers of the police. Obviously, the interior of this cubbyhole, as the witness put it, was included in their investigation. The compartment under the posterior seat was full of the coachman's belongings. It's noted in black and white here in the police report. Good Lord! The evidence has been tampered with. In order to corroborate Mr. McGillard's story, someone has unlawfully removed everything from under the seat.
What?
Order! How could such a devious contrivance possibly have been effected, counsel? Naturally, we must acknowledge the deficiencies of the constabulary in allowing this to have happened. However, I assure you, when the omnibus was wheeled into the courtroom this morning, the compartment under the seat was not empty. Well, my Nipponese friend?
Me?
When the carriage was submitted as evidence, doubtless you examined it in fine detail, as would any self-respecting practitioner of the law. Pray, what did you find the condition of the underseat compartment to be?
Oh, to be sure. The young gentleman will be able to clear this up in a jiffy. Sorry? Go ahead. You'll tell the court now, fella. How this was all an elaborate excuse by the most desperate Lord Van Zeeks. Well, counsel, do you have something to say on this matter? How am I supposed to answer? What can I say about the state of that little compartment under the seat in the omnibus? Sorry, I'm a failure. I didn't look. Why didn't I examine the omnibus more thoroughly?
Perhaps I credited you with too much intelligence. It seems, my lord, that this Eastern initiate is as unreliable as wine from the barrel.
Mr. Naruhodo.
Well now, it would seem that the argument is moot. And the truth of the matter is there for you all to see, after all. That their cubbyhole under the seat is as empty as the devil's heart, so it is. Why? Why do I feel like something's not right here? I should like the jury to weigh in on this matter, I think.
That compartment is designed to house equipment used to maintain the smooth running of the carriage. The Guild's rules state that omnibuses should be properly and fully equipped at all times. And so it certainly wouldn't have been empty on the night in question. Bippo isn't that irresponsible. That money-lending fleecer and the pick purse are lying.
Ah! I can't believe I was nearly taken in. The stinking wretch are always stinkers. Nothing but cowards, the lot of them. What? Oh no.
It's a trick. Of course, it's a trick. Of course, it's a trick. It's a trick. Of course, it's a trick.
Quite so. I must concur here. With calm, calculated reasoning, one arrives clearly at the truth every time.
Yes, but every time a different truth, it seems.
My lord, I humbly exhibit the scales of justice. Clearly, a verdict of not guilty at this time would be wholly inappropriate.
Thank you, counsel. But before we proceed any further, there is the matter of the outstanding cross-examination. Counsel for the defense, begin your questioning of the witness, please. Yes, my lord. What just happened? The whole balance of the trial just shifted almost beyond recognition. The Reaper of the Bailey is at work, it would seem. So I snuck inside the carriage before they hooked up the horses, just like always. But who's the right old waste of time? I got nothing to show for my troubles that night. I'll tell you, you can't see a blind thing in that hiding place. It's pitch in there. After a while, I heard this loud bang. Nearly jumped out of my skin, I did, and the scream just came out. It's because of that. The swell found me. It did help me get away, mind. And after a while, I hear this loud bang. Again, like next week, I'll try to practice a Scottish accent. So, you were already in the omnibus before it even set off on its run? Well, yeah. I mean, what's the point of spending the joy to make it feel bob, eh? That's a rum idea, isn't it? I suppose she means there's no point in spending money to make money. It actually makes sense. Counsel, may I remind you that this girl is a petty thief? Kindly refrain from entertaining her tenants. Well, that does clear up the little mystery of the fares and all. 4 paying passengers at 5 pence apiece, making it 20 to which the cabman is testified. And 1 little scapegrace right in for free. The red conch of a driver always goes for some grab before his last run, see? That's when I slip into the carriage and get myself hidden under the seat. Nice and easy, right? But your hiding place is a storage compartment, full of equipment for the coach, no? Yeah, there's brushes and buckets and whatnot in there, sure. I always chuck all that out and cram into a corner somewhere. No one ever seems to bother much. And yet, according to the the car compartment was full of such paraphernalia. Well, I don't know nothing about that. Like I said, I moved all the stuff out so I could hide under the seat. That's all I can tell you. It seems we've reached the end of that line of inquiry. Continue. That was a right waste of time. I got nothing to show for my troubles that night. I got nothing to show for my troubles that night. I got nothing to show for my troubles that night. A waste of time? Why is that? Well, most nights I'm on my own in the God most nights I'm on my own most nights I'm on my own in the God permit, at least some of the time. I beg your pardon. Did you say God permit? Oh, yeah. Well, that's what my kind call it. You'd say the omnibus, I suppose. Point is, any normal run the carriage ain't got no one in it for a while. And that's when you came out of your hiding place and managed to get away. And get away. That's it. Only that night. Oh, this cove was sit on his seat from the start, and he didn't budge the whole way, did he? Not 1 inch. I was totally stuck. Do you mean to tell us that you were present at the carriage for the duration? You were under the seat the entire time, while events unfolded in the enclosed cabin? Right, mister?
To be sure. I was as shocked as anyone. You don't expect to lift the cushion up you've been sat on and find a child, do you? So this Miss Lestrade couldn't possibly be the culprit then. I'll tell ya, you can't see a blind thing in that hiding place. It's pitch in there. So you couldn't see out into the cabin at all? Not a jot. Most days I push the cushion up with me head and look out the crack. Then I can have a butcher's at who I'm gonna fiddle. I thought you were a pickpocket, not a butcher. I mean I can have a look. The seat I get under ain't as plush as the other ones, see. Oh, most of the time the passengers plant themselves opposite. But for some reason that night this Irishman spent the whole journey right over my head. And for that reason you weren't able to push the cushion up to peek out, see. Truth is, I ain't too happy in the small dark places. Just too much like being thrown in a clink. But it's the only way to hide in them carriages. So it's Hobson's choice. Why didn't she just stick to picking people's pockets in the open then? I'd say there's some reason that she's not letting on, judging from her demeanor. Oh, anyways, I was a bit scared, but I had to just stick it out. Nothing else for it. Then, after a while, I hear this loud bang. Nearly jumped out of my skin, I did, and the scream just came out. Then, after a while, I hear this loud bang. Nearly jumped out of my skin, I did, and the scream just came out. When you say a loud bang, do you mean the noise of someone falling to the floor? Could have been, I suppose. I don't remember so well. Point is, it made me jump. And you let out a scream involuntarily. That's right. And then I felt the cushion over my head get lighter all of a sudden. Presumably when the defendant got up in order to help the victim, yes. Or not. It could equally have been the moment the accused stood in order to stab his victim, could it not? Well, girl, did you see what happened at that crucial moment? Yeah, I saw it. I pushed up the cushion and had a quick butcher's while I had the chance, didn't I? The Irishman was sitting up the bloke who had fallen on the supposed seat opposite. That matches Mr. McGilden's account, of course. But then, the fella suddenly turns around and looks right at me. I sunk back down again, but it was too late by then. I should never have risked looking. And with Mr. McGilden had discovered you, he pulled you from your hiding place? I was scared stiff, I was. He dragged me out and set me down on the seat and all. Next to the victim, Mr. Mason. Yeah, the bloke had a knife in his guts. He was still bleeding. And the carriage lurched a bit and he ended up falling on me. Ugh, how awful. Both me hands got covered in blood, made me feel sick as a dog. Both their hands covered in blood. That must be what the rooftop passengers saw. After that, I believe you talked with Mr. McGilden for a while. Is that correct? He asked me some stuff. I wanted to know what my name and what I was up to and that. Then I heard something from up above. Someone screamed. Yes, Mr. First on the roof deck, one would presume. Well, I didn't want no one seeing my face, so I didn't look up. And the horses was drawn up smartish, and this there Irishman insisted to me. Get back under the seat. I'll see that you can get away later. All 6 members of the jury had decided the defendant was innocent. For one brief shining moment, yes. It's clear that they are still very unsure. If we could just find some conclusive piece of evidence among this new testimony, I'm sure we could clinch the verdict we want. Yes, I think you're right. And I have this niggling feeling something's bothering me. But I just can't quite put my finger on it.
Oh, it's down. Ah, wait. Ah, that. Let's take a look in here. So, it's not a contradiction that it's, you know, it is dark in there, and I can't prove it wasn't dark. Whoops, I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to do that. Something wrong, Mr. McGilded?
Oh, I do apologize. There's something the matter, Council.
I'm just wondering if Miss Lestrade's last comment made something occur to you, perhaps. You seem to be thinking something to yourself.
No. It was nothing important. I was feeling bad for the poor lass is all. I remember feeling desperate myself as a young lad. Show about yourself, but I find out that the darkness seems to make everything you hear seem that much louder as well. Yeah. I suppose it does. Maybe. Miss Lestrade, did you hear something that night? Anything? An unusual noise, perhaps? Nah, not really. All I could hear was the Irishman snoring. Yeah, but shivers, there's no need to tell the whole world in my foibles, you little scamp.
What a pity. If only Miss Lestrade had heard something. It might have given us a vital new clue.
Yes. What should we make of that last statement of hers? My lord, I believe the statement just made by the witness is profoundly important. Profoundly important? But all she said was that she heard nothing. Yes, which is the profoundly important point. I'm almost sure of it. I'm almost sure that I don't understand the inner workings of your Eastern Mind Council. Nevertheless, Miss Gina Lestrade, you will supplement your formal testimony by repeating that last statement, please. What? Supplement? What are you on about? Don't give me all your fancy talk. I know what you're trying to do. Well, it wouldn't work on me. That's right. Insult the judge. Always a good move. I was straining my ears to work out what was going on, but all I could ever hear was snoring.
Hold it!
So, you were straining to hear what was happening the entire time, since the moment you hit yourself? Not exactly, no. Sorry? Well, there was no one in the cabin to start with. Oh, I could just push the cushion up and have a butcher's to see what was what. But then, when I saw the swell getting on, I got my head down so he didn't notice me. And Mr. McGilded sat on the seat under which you were hiding, correct? Yeah, would you add him an even, eh? What a mug. So then all I could do was listen. I was waiting to jump out of there as soon as I heard him leave, see. What, would he? Not likely. Even though we stopped here and there, I never heard the door open. I just had to stay put and listen to him driving his pigs to make... So I just had to stay put and listen to him driving his pigs to market. Snowing like an old dog he was. Are there any conclusions we can draw from that, I wonder? Let's see... Miss Lestrade, what you have just told the court is clearly at odds with the facts. Ah! At odds? Oh, are you sure, man? Absolutely. It seems my learned Nipponese friend is not as dull-witted as I feared. So Van Zeeks realized it too. Counsel! I must insist that you bolster your claim with evidence, or some complicit party's name at the very least. Yes, my lord. I expect you to demonstrate this alleged contradiction to the court. According to Miss Lestrade, while she was hiding in the omnibus that night, she heard nothing but the sound of Mr. McGillet snoring. Think, Ryunosuke, think. There's something else she should have heard. Very well, my lord, allow me to elaborate. A particular sound that Miss Lestrade could not have failed to hear on the night in question. Sound very clearly explained by the presence of the following person.
Rise fired Mason? Yes, my lord. The sound that Miss Lestrade cannot have failed to hear is that of the victim, Mr. Mason, boarding the omnibus. Order, order! Explain your reasoning, counsel. Miss Lestrade, allow me to confirm something. You claimed earlier that you were the first person on board the omnibus, is that correct? Yeah, of course I was. I got on with the driver who was in the pub, didn't I? And the next person aboard the omnibus was Mr. McGilded? That it was. Not a soul in the cabin when I climbed aboard. At least not in plain sight. So you were, to all intents and purposes, alone in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus at that time? Did I not just say as much? I wasn't traveling with anyone else, just what you mean. Yeah, I saw him get on, remember? Through the crack in the seat cushion. He was on his own for sure. And from what we've heard, the carriage made a number of stops after that on its onward journey. During which time, did you not hear the door opening or closing at all? Nah, I never heard it. That's exactly what I was listening for, weren't it? We're waiting for this swell to leave. In which case, when and how did the victim end up in the carriage? Ah! We know that the victim collapsed inside the enclosed cabin of the omnibus. Therefore, Miss Lestrade's statement about what she did or did not hear is at odds with the facts. Yes, this petty thief's statement was clearly flawed. Lord Van Zeeks! Yes, he knew. He knew all too well that there was inconsistency in Miss Lestrade's statement. It would seem words of thanks are in order, my learned friend. What are you talking about? You have demonstrated matters impeccably. This witness and her colorful statements are entirely unreliable. Her words are convenient untruths, nothing more. He's dead right. How could the victim possibly not have boarded the omnibus? That makes no sense whatsoever. And this girl's a pickpocket. Let's not forget that. She didn't even say anything. I didn't want to judge the dear little mite just because she has some rather naughty ways. But I must say, I can't abide liars. And neither can I. Mr. Foreman, I didn't want to judge the girl just because she has some less than salubrious ways. But I must say, I cannot abide liars. Wait, no, that's not... Well... Mr. Naruto, that's 5 jury members leaning towards guilty.
Well, your consideration for others is refreshing, my Nipponese friend. To the considerable troubles you have spared me. Yes, very refreshing.
God, what are you playing at? Have you forgotten who you're working for, you useless Easterner Madden? This is carnage. It's perfect. Your number 2 is the only one left. Mr. Naruto, the way this is going... I know. If we can't find some new way to convince everyone of Mr. McGild's innocence, the judge will rule and we'll have lost. I very much wanted to believe the words of one of London's most respected gentlemen, but those of us in service know we must accept hard truths.
Hold it!
Yes, the witness's last statement seems to have revealed a critical inconsistency in her story. However, if we consider the possibility that her statement is in fact the truth, it may shed an entirely new light on this whole case. And that is where I'm going to end it for today. My voices were not nearly as... like, they weren't perfect, but clearly, making a recording of the voices and then being able to listen back to them was very, very helpful. So, any week where I'm, where there's a lot of characters that I just can't actually, remember all of them, I'll try to do that, before the next stream for this game, So yeah, that's today's stream. See if there's anyone to raid. Ooh, the Pack Walk is playing Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, Justice for All. I'll definitely send you guys over there. Have fun, and thanks so much for everyone who was and wasn't here. Have a lovely weekend.